Hey guys, I'm Glitter Valkyrie, and today we're going to pull on the Bite of Flame banner. And today we're doing something a little bit different than what I would normally do. I am pulling for the backpack unit on the duo, and I am also pulling purely for fodder. So we'll talk about this banner as we go along, but let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so our plan for today is going to be to pull blue and green, and we are pulling blue because this Lyn has the most amazing fodder. Speed Smoke 4 is one of my favorite skills in the entire game. There are so many characters that use it so well, and I feel like I need like 10 different copies. And so we're going to pull every single blue that we see, and in addition to the blues, I definitely want to pull greens because I am a huge fan of Peony. She is one of my favorite Fae OCs, and I do wish that she were the lead, but every form of Peony I'm going to want, and this version looks like Yoimiya from Genshin Impact. And so even though I'm really not attached to Tana as a character, and I actually thought that it was Fear when I first saw the duo, and I would have actually preferred that because I super love Fear, I still want the duo because it is Peony in Yoimiya's outfit. And so if we get to 40 and we don't get either of those, I really don't know what I'm going to do. We'll figure it out when we get there, but hopefully it doesn't come to that. And if we don't have either of our desired colors, I think that we'll probably have to go for colorless, which will be super unfortunate because I do not want Muspel at all. I do not like him as a character, and I don't know how I would use his fodder, but I do feel like there's more value in that than pulling for a 4-star, even though I do like Rinka, so I think that that is our plan. And I did want to mention Rinka, and I am honestly very disappointed with how she was handled on this banner. I feel like she is like the whole theme of the banner, and they made her the 4-star, and she was like super shafted. And so, although I like her as a character, I really don't think I'd get much use out of her, and so that's why we're going to avoid those reds today. So I guess that does cover everyone, and we can probably go ahead and answer our viewer questions now. And as always, if I did not get to your question, I am so sorry. I will try to do it in a future one. And if you think of a question you want to ask me, just leave it in the comments with #question, and I will put your question on my list. So our first question today comes from JR Star, and they ask, Speed Smoke 4 seems like such awesome fodder. So if you could, oh my goodness, oh my gosh. I think she heard us talking about Speed Smoke. That is amazing. Okay, let's check IVs. And she is plus HP minus res. I am more than happy with that. I'm going to be happy with every Lyn that I see today. But getting back to this very lucky question from JR Star, they asked, Speed Smoke 4 seems like such awesome fodder. So if you could, who would you give this skill to in your barracks? So yes, it is such amazing fodder, and I have so many characters that want it. But I'm pulling for it today for 2 characters specifically, both of which cannot inherit her special, which I know is suboptimal, but I really don't care. But the first character that I have in mind is my Brave Claude, and he just got the most amazing refine with Wind Parthia, and I feel like Speed Smoke 4 would benefit him in so many ways, and so he is going to be my first recipient of Speed Smoke. And the other one that I really want to give it to is my Legendary Xander. I'm not 100% sure that it's going to work well on him, but it's going to be better than Colorless Feud, and so I really want to try that as well. But thank you for that great question. And the next question that I have today comes from the Angry Heavy. Oops. You know, I really am not multitasking very well today. I really need to focus. But our next question is from the Angry Heavy, and they ask, if you could choose 4 Genshin characters plus 1 as a Tempest Trials unit to add to Fae, which ones would you pick and why? So I really don't think this is ever going to happen because we never got another TMS banner, and that was like a direct collaboration. But if by some miracle we actually got this, it would be amazing. And the characters that I would choose would pretty much just be my favorites. So Child and Jean and Toma, and I think I'll hate them as well. And as for a Tempest Trials unit, I think that I would just pick one of my other favorites, like either Ayaka or Yoimiya or Nahida. I absolutely love Nahida too. But thank you for that great question. And let's go ahead and answer our next one. And this comes from Alex Ha. And they ask, what is your favorite PvP mode and what is your favorite event, like Tempest Trials, Forging Bonds, etc.? Okay, so for the first part of your question about my favorite PvP mode, I would say none of them. if you asked me like 6 months ago, I would have said arena, but I don't know, for the last like several months, it's just been so painful with all the duo units and like the OP legendaries, and I don't know, I just struggle so much, so I really don't like it anymore. And as for the, oh my gosh, we got them. Oh my goodness, I'm so happy to see them. Okay, let's check IVs. Holy smokes. Those are like the perfect IVs for them. I am so beyond happy with that. So getting back to this very lucky question from Alex, I was saying I really don't like any of the PvP modes. I've never really liked AR, and I really got burnt out with summoner duels very quickly, so my answer is none of them. And as for the second part of your question about my favorite event, it is hands down Hall of Forms. It's something that I look forward to like every single month, and it's something that I actually would have liked to make content for, but I think it's really difficult because you kind of have to wait until the end to make it into a video. But it's something that I'm like super passionate about, and I'm always having so much fun with, and there's always that level of investment that at the end you could get something really great out of it with a new character. And so, yes, hands down, that is my favorite thing in the entire game. But thank you for that very lucky question. And let's go ahead and answer our next one. And this comes from Anetta's Best Girl. And they ask, did you take the Forma Guinevere from the last Hall of Forms? So yes, I actually did. My Guinevere was already plus 10, but I was running her base. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness, that's like the most amazing pity breaker. Amir is amazing. Okay, let's check IVs. Oh my goodness. She's also plus attack. That is an amazing IV spread. I am so beyond happy with that. But getting back to this very lucky question from Annette, I was saying that I did take the Guinevere. I already had her at plus 10, but I was running her base kit, and she needed some upgrades, and so I was really happy with how mine turned out. And I actually also just took a bunch of the new ones today. I don't normally do that, but I took Urk, and I took Pent, and I took Eliwood, and I'm so happy with how they all turned out. But thank you for that very lucky question. And let's go ahead and answer. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. That is Lewin. And you know what? He's one of the best like 4-star specials. I love Lewin. All right, let's check IVs. And he is plus res minus defense. That is going to be a merge. And so thank you, Annette. That was an extremely lucky question. My gosh. So let's go ahead and answer our next one. And this comes from Maurice Saturn 32. And they ask, who have been the benefactors or receivers of all the Ascended Florets you've gotten so far? Okay, so I'm going to try to remember all of them. Hopefully I don't leave any out. I know that the first one that I gave it to was my Sarah, and I regret nothing. She deserved it all. And then I gave it to all of my Laura Shells. And then I gave it to my Legendary Claude, and I gave it to my Summer Claude. And I've been waiting on my Brave Claude because I'm not sure if I should go for speed and defense or speed and attack. So if anybody has any suggestions, just leave it in the comments because I still have no idea. I'm just sitting on a floret for him. And I've also given a floret to my Ninja Corrin. And as for another character that's on the list to give it to, I also want to give it to my Legendary Xander. So yeah, that's kind of what I've done so far. But thank you for that great question. And let's go ahead and answer our next one. And this comes from Celeste MS. And they ask, what are your thoughts about Tower of Fantasy so far? Okay, so the last time I talked about Tower of Fantasy, it was like right before Sumeru came out in Genshin. And to be quite honest, as soon as that came out, I forgot everything else, and I have just been immersed in Sumeru for all this time. So I haven't been playing too much of Tower of Fantasy. But I can talk about my experience up to that point. I will say that it feels very similar to Genshin. I think that it is maybe a little bit more free-to-play friendly, and I'm actually super bummed that I missed out on the 5-star of my choice, but it's my own fault. I spent all my time in Genshin, and so I didn't get that. I will say that some of the characters are really nice, but overall, it also doesn't feel like as polished as Genshin. I think that some of the voice acting is really good. Some of it I don't like as much. The gacha system, I don't know really how I feel about it, and while the story is good, it hasn't grabbed me quite as much as Genshin did initially. I think it has a lot of potential, and I could see myself playing it more in the future, like when I'm done with Sumeru. But that's kind of how I feel about it right now. But thank you for that great question. And we get a Robin. All right, so let's go ahead and answer our next one. And this comes from Aura, and it's another Tower of Fantasy question. They ask, I heard you picked up Tower of Fantasy, so who is your favorite character? So despite the fact that I haven't played in a minute, I do have a favorite, and that is Pepper. And I'm pretty sure she's not a very good unit. She is a 4-star and she is a healer, but her design grabbed me immediately, and I do love my healers, so that's who I was playing with the most. But thank you for that great question. And let's go ahead and answer our next one. And this comes from Chibi Robin. And they ask, for Sarah, Male Robin, and Lara Shell, would you rather give them a legendary or an ascended version? Okay, so as for Sarah, I would love for her to get an ascended version in the regular pool. I don't think it'll ever happen, but a girl can dream. And as for Male Robin, I feel like he deserves to be a legendary to kind of match the female version. And as for Lara Shell, I would love them both. But I guess at the end of the day, I would choose Ascended for her just because I feel like it's a little bit better when they're in the normal pool, and it's always painful to pull for those legendaries with color sharing. So I think that that's what I would choose. But thank you for that great question. All right, so let's go ahead and pull these next blues, and we can answer another one. And this comes from Huey Tran. And they ask, quick question, Claude or Xander? Oh my goodness, I don't think I have a quick answer for this. To be honest, I love them both equally, so I really can't choose. But like, if my Faye account were depending on it, if I had to make that life or death decision, oh gosh, I think that I would choose Xander just because he is a character that I loved from the moment I met him, and I just have such an attachment to him. And I think that Three Hopes kind of like clouded my judgment a little bit with Claude, even though it's super not canon. So maybe just Xander a little bit more at the end of the day. But thank you for that great question. All right, so let's go ahead and pull this next blue, and maybe we can sneak in like one more question. And this comes from Dark127, and they ask, after getting Legendary Xander, do you think we will be getting a Brave Xander? And if so, what weapon would you like him to use and why? Okay, so I really don't think that we will get a Brave Xander because I don't think that he'll get enough votes. But if he did, I would love to see him use a tome and be a little bit different, and maybe like borrow a tome from Leo. I think that would be nice. And I would love for him to not be on a horse because he's almost always on a horse. So if he could be like a flying tome, that would be amazing. But thank you for that great question. Okay, let's see if we can get a Lynn. Okay, Smoke. Is it Speed Smoke? Nope, it's Ferdinand. That's totally fine. All right, so let's go ahead and spark. And I think we should take another copy of Lynn just because those skills are so valuable. Yay! Oh my gosh, I'm so happy that we were able to get 2 copies. And we get the thing. All right, so we are going to go ahead and end things here. I got everything on my wish list today, and I am so beyond happy with how this went. And if you are pulling on this banner, I truly hope that you get everything that you are looking for. I do want to thank everybody that submitted questions. I really, really appreciate your support. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.